This is the homework helper for Chapter 9, Section 4 in the 7th grade workbook, Measures of Central Tendency. Let's go ahead and take a look at number 1 here. We're supposed to identify the outlier in the data set, then determine how the outlier impacts the mean, the median, the mode, and the range of the data set. So just as you saw in the notes, what we're going to do is go through and tabulate, then we're going to go and throw the outlier out, then retabulate and say what happens here. We'll probably be able to figure out a lot of these just looking at what we're taking out. Not a big deal though. Alright, so let's go ahead and start off with number 1. As you can see, what I've already done in number 1 is I've gone ahead and put the numbers in order from least to greatest, which should save me some time here. Alright, so we got to calculate the mean, the median, the mode, and the range, and I'll do that in a traditional order here. So let's start with the range. We'll take the easiest one here. I'm going to subtract the big and the small, 26 minus 4 here. That's going to give me 22. Mode is the number that shows up most often. As you can see, we have a couple numbers that show up more than once, but the number 4 shows up 3 times here, so my mode is going to be 4. My median is what I have when I have the numbers in order and then find the middle number on my list. So that's where I'll go to next here. And when I do that, the median, counting in from the outside to identify the middle number here, works out to be 6 and 7 here. So if I'm averaging 6 and 7, you can all do that in your head. That's going to work out to be 6.5, the number that's perfectly in between 6 and 7. The mean is what I get when I add up all the numbers, and I'll tell you right now, when I add up all the numbers, I get 80. And then what I have to do with that 80 is take and divide by how many numbers are on the list, and when I do that, that's going to give me 8. All right, so now that we've done that, now I'm going to throw out the outlier and recalculate. Now the outlier, the number that doesn't fit in with the rest of the list, is clearly 26. Remember, the outlier is simply a number that does not fit in with the rest of the data. All of these are single-digit numbers, and then all of a sudden, by comparison, you've got this big double-digit number. So we're going to throw out 26 and recalculate here. So let's start with the bottom again here, the range. The range is going to shrink because simply the list of numbers has shrank. All right, difference of 9 and 4. 9 minus 4 is going to change into 5. So what happened there, which is what they want you to figure out, the range went down. All right, the mode is still the number that shows up most often, and that has not changed, 4. So that one has stayed the same, which is again what they're looking for. They want you to state what happened. In this case, the mode stayed the same. The median is my middle number, so I'm going to have to recalculate here because now I only have 9 numbers. So counting in from the outside, I know that number 5 here is going to be my perfect middle number, and I see my perfect middle number is 6. I don't even have to average it anymore because there's not 2 middle numbers. So the median went down as well. All right, the mean we should be able to state absolutely without even calculating what happened. I took out a big number. If I take out one of the biggest numbers and then say re-average, it's going to go down. Think about it. Again, let's think about it like your classwork. If I take one of your best scores and then say, I'm going to take that away from you, what's going to happen to your grade? Your grade's going to go down. So I'm taking that old total 80 that I had just a few minutes ago, but then I'm taking away 26. So that leaves me 54 total, divided amongst the 9 numbers I had, and that's going to give me 6. And no surprise, the average went down as well. Now, I'm not going to help you with 3, 4, and 5, at least. I'm not going to solve them for you, but I want you to take a look at the questions there because the questions don't exactly say right out what they're looking for. You have to interpret. So look at number 3. Which measure best describes the middle of the data? Well, the middle of the data here would, of course, be the median, is the middle number. So they're asking you to find the median. In 4, which earthquake magnitude occurred most frequently? Well, the most frequently occurring number is the mode. So they want you to find the mode. And number 5, how spread out are the data? So of course that means they want you to find the range. The range is going to be the difference between the big and the small. And you can do that on your own. Let's go ahead and take a look at number 6. Number 6 is the weighted average question. We saw this for probably the first time today, so I want to make sure we do this right. It says a restaurant offers 3 meals at $12, 8 meals at $8, and 6 meals at $7. Calculate the weighted average price per meal to the nearest cent. All right, and then they give us a little bit of a tip on how to do that in case you don't remember. So what it says here is there's 3 meals at $12. So as you saw in the example in the notes today, I'm going to go ahead and multiply those together to start. which is of course going to give me 36. I'm going to do the same for the 8 meals at $8. So 8 times 8 is 64. And then 6 meals at $7. So 6 times 7. And when I do that, that's going to give me 42. Now, I'm going to go ahead and add those together here. So I'm going to add together the 36, the 64, and the 42, which is going to give me 142. Now I'm going to take that number and divide it by the total number of possibilities here. Well, we've got 3 meals and 8 meals and 6 meals here. So when I add all that up, that's going to give me here what works out to be 17 meals. So I'm going to take 142 and divide it by 17. When I take 142 and divide it by 17, the result is 8.3529. And since they asked me to round to the nearest cent, which makes sense since this represents dollars, is going to be $8.35. So with 3 meals at $12, 8 meals at $8, and 6 meals at $7, that averages out to an average cost of $8.35 a meal. And you'll do that exact same approach in any other time they ask you to find the weighted average. Multiply together each set of components, then add that result and divide by the total. Remember, it's just an average, and that will always give you the weighted average.